the party, pal!
Yeah. Wait. Are we not talking about? Uh-oh.
I was
just-
I was trying to find a
put this
Spider-Man. I was gonna find a Spider-Man shirt, but I didn't have one, so I was like, "Oh, who has one? The dog."
I literally can't find one Spider-Man thing, so this was the joke.
You're telling me that in my old room you can't find one Spider-Man thing?
One thing. I've looked all over for like last 10 minutes. I can't believe it. That's okay.
That's
okay.
amazing.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Woo! Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
For those of you who are new here, this is a podcast by us, the Loomer Brothers. I'm Preston Loomer,
I'm Nathan Loomer.
and this is our season finale.
I guess. Yeah. Happy
Uh,
New
season-
Year.
It's just the one we do at the end of the year. That's how
Yeah.
it works.
All this-
Because we got busy around Christmas. We somehow missed Christmas.
yes.
So we decided, because of Spider-Man No Way Home, which came out 2 weeks ago, and since we both watched all of the Spider-Man movies again before that, we're just going to do the Spider-Man movies.
Yes.
So that's all 8 live actions. That's the 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Mans, the 2 Mark Webb Spider-Mans, the 3 MCU Spider-Mans, and Into the Spider-Verse, because it was too good not to talk about. We are not doing the Venom movies, because 1, we already did the first one, and 2, I don't think Nate's seen the second one yet. Yeah. Venom, Let There Be Woody Harrelson.
Yep. That's all it is to me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
So,
so-
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Okay, I'm trying to think. So we're going from worst villain.
So
Let's
yeah,
not
we're
put
gonna
it
we're
down
gonna base it by which villains are worst to best, and you can choose any villain in the movie. I have a first
Oh.
pick. I have a first pick if you're struggling.
Nothing good.
Okay,
Give me my least.
my least favorite villain of them all is Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
We're on the same page there.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that movie has my least 2 favorite villains. So
It's
We're
it's
good.
bottom and then like 2 up from that.
yeah.
There's 1 in between them.
Okay. I mean, I guess okay, but it does have the rhino. That's the problem. God.
As the great Paul Giamatti is around. So Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014. It was the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Adventure.
Yeah. It was not as good as the first one, according
Not
to
even close.
most people, and I'm among those people.
Among those people. I'm hugely. I think it's my least favorite Spider-Man. Well, I mean that's
Nah, yeah, it probably is, but not.
probably is.
Here's what I will say. It has a couple things that I really like. One,
Yeah.
I think it's the best Andrew Garfield Spider-Man performance. He's just so dang like raw in that movie,
Yeah.
and he fixes his accent problems from the first one.
Mhm.
2, it has Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. I think she's the best of the 3 romantic leads in any of them.
Debate. It's between her and the new romantic lead. I don't know.
Zendaya's pretty good, but I just like Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy. I think she gets it, and she looks like spot on with the comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has my favorite portrayal of Aunt May in any of them.
Okay.
I like Sally Field as Aunt May.
Sally Field
I'm
as
not going
Aunt
to
May.
apologize for that.
It's a great anime. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is the movie that I remember I literally like saw Chronicle the year before. I was like, that guy's really good. And then he did the same thing in every movie I've ever seen him in. And
Yeah.
like never mind.
Well, and they just didn't use him well in this. Like I liked him in Kill Your Darlings. I
Kill Your
liked him
Darlings.
in Through the Never, and in Chronicle, obviously. But they do this thing with Dane DeHaan where he just sounds like someone stuck a fire poker in his side, and he's trying not to let anyone know that he's in pain.
It's so weird.
And
It's a weird choice to bring it in after we just had James Franco do it. Like I don't know. So quickly. Like
I get that Goblin's kind of like the villain. Like
The
he's
villain.
the one sort of everybody agrees on is like Spider-Man's probably biggest and baddest.
He's
but
his Joker.
Yeah. So much so that the comparison is uncanny.
Yeah.
But it didn't work. And I think it didn't work because they kind of shoehorned it in like right at the end there.
Yeah.
Like he has this whole thing with Electro throughout the movie. And then at the very last minute they're like, "Oh, here's the subplot and Goblin's going to kill Gwen Stacy." Spoilers. We're going to spoil all these movies, by the way.
Rewatching it, if Jamie Foxx didn't have to play Electro so weird the whole movie, I think this movie would have been okay, like decent as far as
I
a villain.
I think 90% of it comes down to the writing. Like
It's
once Jamie Foxx, he's great. I think he's great in the first 20 minutes of the movie when he's like
yeah,
weird Max without his powers. Once he
mhm.
becomes Electro, they give
It's
him
so
the
strange.
worst dialogue.
Yes,
When he's got that like there'll be no more Spider-Man. And you're like, who says that? Who
he says
actively
that.
just says that in anything?
Yeah,
Like they were trying to do like Stan Lee Spider-Man villains who are just the most mustache twirling maniacs
yes.
and it does not work anymore.
Ah, it's why I really just want the Shocker. I mean, but that's okay.
We have Shocker.
We have Shocker,
Sort of.
kind of, yeah.
I will say, I also think that the scene in Times Square in that slow mo sequence where he does like the flip and then like webs 4 people at the same time is
Yeah.
really freaking cool.
A lot of the visuals are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
The Rhino fight, the final shot of him coming at the Rhino with the thing is spinning is actually one of the coolest shots out of all the Spider-Man movies.
And the way that they gave Electro a dubstep score, I thought was really smart.
Yeah,
Because like of the time, that was when that was starting to really like kick off, and it was like, oh, he's electronic. Of course, it like they put this crazy old soundtrack instead of like an orchestral score.
mm-hmm.
So I think like I would rate it at like not quite 3 out of 5 stars. I think it just misses the mark, and I think Goblin's a large part of that for me
Yeah,
because that subplot makes no sense.
no sense, but it's yeah, no, it's a weird thing because it is performance wise, acting wise, from some of the people, it's some of the best acting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such a weird mix of a movie of such crappy story with people really trying.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But I think the Peter Gwen stuff is probably some of the strongest like relational stuff, and she actually like. I like that they made her smarter than him, so that like she solves half his problems for him because he's not quite there.
Yeah.
And I like that Pete does freaking science in this one, and the first Amazing Spider-Man, just science, which like you don't see a lot of in the later Spidey movies.
Nope.
No,
you don't. I didn't get my wish though. I said if a third movie came out, I wanted Emma Stone back with red hair. As
it can still happen. It can still happen.
We're gonna get there.
Look at there. You look vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
I like the people who are pushing now after the stuff that's happened recently for a Gwen, Spider Gwen with Emma Stone.
Spider-Gwen would be great. Yeah. I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, but that's sorry. Gwen's supposed to end up with Miles. Sorry, people.
Whoa.
Get out of here. So.
The fact that they had the stones to kill her off, though, that was like, I mean, that's a big.
Yeah. It was weird because as soon as she started falling, I went, "Oh, this is that comic book part." I knew it. Like when I was sitting there in theater, like, "Oh, she's gonna die."
Well, I remember they put a promotional image and she's wearing the outfit from the comics that like Gwen died in, and I was like, "Oh,
that's even farther than me." My God.
Yeah.
I
was like, "Oh, I have that issue somewhere." Like, it's not good.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they were supposed to have Mary Jane in there, played by what's her name from the Fault in Our Stars, but they just said, "Nah, we'll cut all that," and I was like, "That's probably smart." Yeah.
I said somewhere that like the producer on it was really trying to push Venom into the movie as well because he wanted to sell toys. And it's like, stop
putting Venom in movies.
Stop, please. I don't need it.
I like that the best thing the MCU has done is gone. We don't need Venom.
We don't need him.
We'll give a Tom Hardy cameo once.
God, every video game that Venom in, I love him. Every Spider-Man thing that Venom does is so subpar, and I can't.
It's because they don't know what to do with him, and because he's become such a popular like anti-hero now.
Yes,
it's like we have to like him, but
he's
not
gotta eat people.
but not in a way. But he's got to eat people.
Yeah.
So it's like he's got to be an a-hole, but he also has to be an a-hole that we want to like kind of go. He'd be okay if he stuck around.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else with this movie.
I'm trying to think if there's any other major things. Yeah, just a lot of it. It's just a big mess. They do the same. They have the same problem that the third Spider-Man movie has, where they just try to shove too much into one because they're trying to set up. Because they tried to set up Sinister Six for the third one, and just did not do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I will say that I want Paul Giamatti as the Rhino back.
I would love that. I would love it so much.
I know everyone thought it was
He's
the
so
worst.
perfect.
Everyone was like, it's the worst casting ever, and I was like, no.
No, he's great for the.
I don't think
Rhino.
the Rhino is a villain you should take seriously ever.
Ever.
It was just ridiculous, and I loved it.
Oh my gosh. Oh god, I'm trying to even think what the next villain that I hate is. It's
Yeah, well, you got to pick it because I have mine.
a hard thing. God, I might. God, do I want to go with? If I'm just basing off of one movie, it's gonna be all Gobbler Juniors then, because I don't like James Franco's Goblin Jr. that much. But
we can go there. I don't care, man.
I'll go there. I'm gonna go there.
Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man
3.
Trace. Here's a funny thing. My second least favorite villain is from this movie too, but it's not the same one.
It's Venom, right?
Yeah, it's the Topher Grace Venom.
It was that was two were flipping for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I Spider-Man 3 is one of those ones I feel like has become kind of a cult classic.
Yes. Now it's like way more loved.
I think it's because of meme culture, and Bully Maguire has become so freaking funny.
Yeah. But it also has one of my favorite villains. I love Sandman.
I adore Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman.
Dude, he's so good. It's such a great performance, and it's weird because he never gives off villain vibes. You understand why he's trying to get Spider-Man.
He just wants to get money to see his kid.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah, and they kind of do the retcon with the whole. He's actually the one who shot Uncle Ben, but it was basically an accident. So nobody really meant to kill Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And Peter learns forgiveness after Harry dies. Spoilers. We're spoiling everything. Everything's getting spoiled.
If Spider-Man No Way Home pops up, just click off the video if you haven't seen it.
We'll warn you when No Way Home goes if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
And I read that basically same issue. Sam Raimi had done two of the best superhero movies on the planet. Yeah. Went into the third one going, I want to do Sandman, and I want this Harry Osborn kind of side plot.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's basically about Harry and Pete's friendship coming together. Well, Harry learns to forgive Pete. Pete learns to forgive Sandman. And then Avi Arad, who's just the guy who keeps screwing these things up, goes, Venom.
Venom.
Everybody wants Venom.
Oh, God.
And you could have I think you could have even done the black suit.
Yeah.
In this. I think you could have, done the first part of Black Suit where he's just more powerful and he's got, this kind of cool, dark feeling side about it. Yeah. And he's not quite, douche Parker yet.
Yes, exactly.
But start that train, and then in a fourth one, roll out Venom and that stuff. But they went too big.
Actually, I think the two weakest part of this movie is it's also the Gwen Stacy stuff that's added because of Venom. Is a plot I always forget is even in it because of how lame it is. And I'm bummed. I like that actress. And,
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Ron Howard's kid, real good, and she's great in the role. Yeah, it's
so pointless.
It seemed the whole thing with Gwen in if you know the comic book ways is that she was around long before MJ, so to throw her in kind of after this relationship has been developed doesn't work. Yeah. You get and the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans are very different than any of the less about the action and more about the emotional character investment, so there is a lot of that sort of internal conflict, but it just never gets where it needs to be. And by the end, you're like, gosh, that felt like I wasted half an hour.
Yeah, it really does. And sorry, Topher Grace, Mike, the worst casting choice ever.
Okay, I will defend Topher Grace a little bit. Okay. If I was going to cast an evil Tobey Maguire,
yes,
Topher Grace is exactly
that's okay. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
He's just not a Venom, but yeah, he is the
the Eddie Brock stuff when he's Eddie, I think is actually really good. He's he's kind of douchey. He's brown noser. Yeah. He's fakes the photograph to try and get a promotion out from under Peter. Yeah. All that stuff.
They should never show his face when he's Venom though. They should never open it up so you see the
Well, they do that in the comics all the time though.
I know.
And Venom even becomes his clothes at certain points. I think they tried to do what is the Tobey Maguire equivalent of Venom? Okay. Because in the comics, Venom, Eddie Brock's like this. I mean, Eddie Brock by himself is like massive.
He's a huge dude. Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing.
Even Tom Hardy's probably too small to actually be what comic book Eddie Brock looks like. But
yeah,
he just never quite gets there. And then it just feels added in.
Yeah.
That being said, I do like the sound prison that he uses at the end to get rid of Venom.
To get rid of him. Okay, I forgot. I need to defend my James Franco in this movie. Defend my choice of it, because the reason why when I went in my head earlier that he's like one of my least favorite villains is because of all the extra stuff that was added. That I would have loved to seen way more of Toby and Harry relationship. But you don't get it because of all these other plots. So it feels like these 3 movies have led up to not much. Yeah,
and you get this weird like Harry courting MJ while Peter's kind of screwing up that relationship. Thing, and it feels really forced.
Yes.
Well, and now with all the stuff that's come out about James Franco, it's like, ugh.
It's really bad.
It's still not great.
Oh God, I shouldn't have done it right before this review. Like a week ago, I watched an entire hour-long video of all the stuff James Franco's done, and I'm like, oh God, and I feel really bad.
There's it's like any pair. I feel like any pair of Hollywood brothers, one of them's kind of an a-hole,
right?
Really like the Franco boys, the Affleck guys. God knows what Luke Wilson's probably done. I hope Luke and Owen Wilson don't have any skeletons.
I guess the Hemsworths are okay. It's just one of them decided to marry Miley Cyrus. You
gotta get that Billy Ray money, man.
Yeah, Billy Ray. Oh, I love it.
Why is my camera freaking out? Stop, camera.
It happens.
No, I don't. I think if the Harry Peter stuff had been done better.
Yeah.
Because I think it really could have been, and if that was the central focus.
Yeah.
But then the whole point of they have this build up to Harry's gonna do something. Harry's seething, and then who comes in to tell him that his own dad was an a-hole? The fucking butler.
Yeah,
who we haven't seen for the whole movie.
Oh my gosh, I forget. Yeah, it's dumb.
Well, and I thought about this too. Sam Raimi does this in every single one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Pete's having his existential crisis in the second one, and we'll get to that. Who is it who talks him out of it? Some freaking doctor. Not a guy that we've ever seen before.
It's a big problem.
They just every one of these movies has somebody who's just I'm no one. You don't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh God. I was trying to do a power ranking of Spider-Man villains. Sandman. I don't even know how Spider-Man defeats Sandman.
He doesn't.
Ever. Yeah.
He really doesn't.
He can't.
I think the water thing that they do in the movie, and that's an homage to. I guess there was one where he and Hydro Man teamed up, and basically Spidey smashed them together, and they turned into this mud monster with 2 brains that didn't know how to function.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So okay. That's the kind of stuff. But no, Sandman is. I think, and they said in terms of actual overall power. I think he's number 2. I think Electro's the only one who's actually probably more dangerous than him.
Yeah.
And that's only because Electro can zap. That's only because we live in an electric world, and he can transport through electricity.
Do it. Except maybe Big Wheel would be.
Big Wheel is huge, man. The Spot's so dangerous.
Oh, I love it.
There's a tier list maker for all the Spidey villains from the comics, and the bottom, the D tier, I saw somebody's, and I was like, I don't even know any of these characters, and I know a lot of Spider-Man villains.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, but Spider-Man 3 is, I think, in retrospect, better than people thought it was when it came out. I think when you're it's like the Godfather 3. I don't think Godfather 3 is a bad movie. I just think when you have to follow up the 2 best movies on the damn planet, it sucks.
It sucks.
And when now we've got so many superhero films. This was pre-Dark Knight. This was the best superhero movie at this point was The Incredibles.
It's incredible. That's really true.
I mean, Spider-Man 2, X-Men 2. I think they'd just done that Bryan Singer Superman no one liked. The Hulk with Ang Lee. None of those. So yeah, it's a bit of a letdown.
Oh gosh, I forgot that the X-Men movies came out around this time.
They came out before. They all came out 1, 2, 3 before the Spider-Mans.
That's something I want to talk about later too.
Yeah, that's a whole other series.
Yeah, that's a harder series, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's next? I gotta think of who I don't like after they're all in that movie.
Yeah, I feel bad. I probably want to go with Amazing Spider-Man 1.
I think I'm gonna go with the first. Yeah, I think Lizard is the next.
Lizard is the next. Yeah.
Lizard's yeah, Lizard. No, Lizard's next because Lizard's the most.
Yeah.
I will say
That's
this.
the thing.
Lizard's so forgettable as a villain, and I think they could have made him way cooler, especially if they'd really Jekyll and Hyde him like they're supposed to. But they just made it basically as soon as Connor snaps into the Lizard, he's like, "We're turning everybody into lizards." They made a freaking joke about it in No Way Home. Like,
yeah,
this whole plot makes no sense.
I don't even. So the thing was when like I forgot who the actor like even looked like. When I was like I forgot this who it was. Like I don't know why. He's so forgettable.
It's I don't even know how to say his name. It's Riz. I think it's Reese.
It's Reese something. Yeah.
Reese Ifans, who's a British actor. He was Luna Lovegood's dad in the last Harry Potter movie.
It's weird. Because when I went in to watch it, for some reason I thought Dennis Leary was the villain, and I was like, "Isn't it? Oh no, he's a cop."
Dennis Leary is Gwen's dad, who also dies in the comics very differently than he dies in this one.
And he kind of is a villain in this movie.
He's like General Ross in the Hulk films, where he's not really the villain, but he's like,
stop doing that, dude. Stop.
Yeah. He's like, what's his name? He's like the Johnson twins in Die Hard. They're not the villains, but they get in the way.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 is underrated. I think people kind of didn't like it because it wasn't the Sam Raimi stuff, but again, I think Andrew Garfield is a better Spider-Man. I actually really liked Hipster Spidey, where they made him less of like a traditional nerd and more of like the modern, like I just don't fit in with society.
I don't talk to people because I just don't.
I'm just kind of a loner. Again, Sally Field is my favorite Aunt May. I think I want feistier Aunt Mays.
Yeah.
That's something I really like from the comics is when Aunt May like beats the shit out of somebody with a purse.
Yeah. God. I don't like them adding Martin Sheen. They didn't need Uncle Ben. Yeah.
I think I get it. Like they were trying to, but then they do that, and then I wasn't a big fan of the subplot with his parents being like secret agents. I know that's like legit straight out of the comics, but it felt weird. So awkward.
I don't like it at all. I don't understand it. And
yeah.
Oh gosh.
But I think that what this movie did really well is it felt the most kinetic when Spider-Man's like Spider-Manning.
Yeah.
Like I like that they got a taller, lankier guy who kind of can do all those flips and twists and things that make him look really kind of unnatural. He doesn't seem like Toby seemed really stiff.
Yes.
And Andrew seems really loose, which is kind of fun. And he he quips better than anybody.
That's what I was saying when I was watching with Lola, is that he's the best at acting through the suit.
Yeah.
I know what he's thinking. Like when yeah.
Well, and I'm not gonna. This is gonna get somebody mad. I think Andrew Garfield's the best actor of the three guys who've played Spider-Man.
Oh, best actor in general, yeah. I don't. Yeah. Not my favorite Spider-Man, but yeah.
I was talking about that with Jess, and I think we figured it out. Is that I'm more of an Andrew Garfield type person, and you're more of a Tom Holland type person.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we vibe with those ones.
Tom Holland makes me cry in like every Spider-Man movie. Which is
dude, he's so good though.
He's so good.
Plus, you guys are like close to. I think you're about the same age, and I'm a little closer to Andrew Garfield's age.
Yeah,
makes sense.
This has my favorite. Him fighting mobsters in this. I wish that was the whole movie. Those are the best scenes. This has the best him fighting thugs.
Yeah, when he's trying to track down Uncle Ben's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's like playing the old Spider-Man like games on the GameCube and stuff.
Yeah, I've been playing the PS4 ones, and that's the best part of it is like webbing around people and dancing over people and
swinging them up and stuff. Yeah,
and I love the way that they kind of make his spider. They don't do the whole slow-mo spider sense thing in this. He's just like really fast.
Yeah,
and they kind of just have him like whoop 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 whoop.
Yeah, that's who I am.
Yeah, that's good. So I think that's he has the tingle thing, but not for bread.
Yeah, not for bread.
If a bread monster comes after him, oh no!
Oh my god!
You heard it here, folks. If Marvel starts a bread monster, it's us. We came up with that.
We're gonna do it.
But yeah, I think every time I rewatch Spider-Man movies, I'm always like, oh, Amazing Spider-Man. That's right. That's the one with the lizard and the start of the Gwen Stacy romance, and Dennis Leary's in this movie, and I forget that Dennis Leary is in this freaking movie.
Okay, I just forget all the plots for the most part. Besides, I know like the basic things. I don't remember how we get places. And, it's a bit of a cluster.
Yeah, I do like the ending with the cranes.
Yes,
I think that's a pretty cool shot. And I like, most of him going around the city. I think that's.
I like a darker Spider-Man too. I wouldn't mind more dark Spider-Man. Like,
I think that he could do a great job. I honestly kind of want, like, based on what you were saying, like almost just like put the Kingpin in as the villain and let Spider-Man just fight goons.
Yeah.
Like, make it a Daredevil movie, really.
Yes.
Take Daredevil out, put Spider-Man in, and just do it.
Daredevil Spider-Man is my favorite superhero team up, and I hope soon we get it.
We had a minute. Okay, we're trucking. We've gotten through three of.
Oh my god.
We're through three of 9.
9. Okay. Oh god, this is where it gets.
Okay, I'll break the tie here.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Tombstone from Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, good job.
Because I can. There are 12 villains in that movie. I can pick anybody who's not Kingpin or Doc Ock.
Right. Okay, you have a good point.
Yeah.
Oh god, that really helps.
Yeah. I think that going to Into the Spider-Verse is the only animated one. Yes. It won Best Animated Picture at the Oscars. It kind of, no one expected it to, and then everyone realized it's like amazing.
It's brilliant. It's one of those brilliant films of the decade.
It might be the best. I mean, it's arguably the best Spider-Man film. There are people out there who will say it's better than any live-action Spider-Man we've ever gotten.
Which, that's because Jake Johnson's my favorite Spider-Man.
Jake Johnson's perfect. They come out. If you haven't seen it, Chris Pine is Spider-Man for about 3 minutes. And then they switch to the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and they open a multiverse thing, and then he gets Peter B. Parker, who's played by Jake Johnson from New Girl. Nick Miller, if you don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody
knows Spider-Man going through a midlife crisis, and it's beautiful.
Good. It's so beautiful.
I legit, though, I said if any of these guys came to like a live action one, I want Nicolas Cage's Spider-Noir in live action. Yes. I think you could totally do that.
I would totally watch that. Even like a little short film. God.
Yeah. Like you get him, Haley Steinfeld is Spider-Gwen. I don't remember the actress who plays the Asian one with the robot.
Yeah.
And then John Mulaney as Spider-Ham.
Mm-hmm.
I always almost say John Hamm as Spider-Ham, but then I'm like, that's not right. Although that would be funny.
Would be really funny. Oh my gosh.
This one also has the cool. This is something I'm gonna say. Catherine Hahn's Doc Ock in this movie.
Very good.
Like, I never thought that anyone would ever even come close to making me like Doc Ock the way Alfred Molina made me like Doc Ock.
Yeah.
They tried real hard.
I didn't see the twist coming. That's
I didn't either.
Like, right. It could be anyone. Like,
this is a different universe.
Different universe. God. It's so good.
Well, and I think that's the whole point is that, like, anybody can be anything.
Yes.
You know, and that's the whole thing with Spider-Man is it's like Spider-Man can be anybody.
He's the best.
And
that's the big reason he's better than Batman.
He is.
I'm going to fight people.
Okay, he's more realistic. Like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't climb walls and shoot webs and all that stuff. But Spider-Man is anybody. Batman is only the rich people.
Yes, only the rich people.
Who decided? One guy. This is something to point out. One guy decided instead of spending these billions and millions of dollars to solve world hunger, I'm gonna go beat up criminals in one city in America.
Yes, that's really true.
That being said, I'm gonna see the Robert Pattinson Batman as soon as I
love it. I know I'm gonna love it. God. Yeah.
You put Pattinson and Dano in a movie, I'm gonna go watch it.
I'm gonna say, I love Miles Morales. I'm really happy we have a new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Isn't Peter Parker? I think that's awesome.
Well, and that's what they did is they just basically said if Peter Parker, Brian Michael Bendis, who wrote him, basically said if Peter Parker was 21st century, he'd probably be like a multi-ethnic kid from, poor kid from Queens.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
God.
It's brilliant.
So good. It's brilliant. The fact that the amount of different animations that are in this movie makes me lose it. I watched that entire video on like how they made the swinging look like nicer once he finally gets going. And
oh yeah, all the two frame stuff.
Yeah,
if you haven't,
frames.
go watch the Movies with Mikey. If you're done with this, go over to the Movies with Mikey channel on YouTube. Watch his Into the Spider-Verse video because it explains the art style amazingly.
Yeah.
And basically how they drew a comic book and then filmed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
God. Oh.
And everyone is perfectly cast. I don't think there's a better, like, everybody makes sense in this universe.
Mm-hmm. Lily Tomlin, someone I would have liked as Aunt May.
Miss Frizzle as Aunt May would have been perfect.
So great.
You can still do it. We can still make it happen.
You still do it. It is sad that we put. Yeah, it does. I'm glad you did go with it, like because of the crappy villains that can be in it. Which is about because Kingpin in this movie is one of the best villains.
Yeah, and Liev Schreiber, who's such an underrated performer, given it.
Yeah,
I like the Kingpin in this. The Goblin in this is cool. The big monster Goblin. Yeah. The like actual Scorpion is really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tombstone's there. And the Prowler. The Prowler's freaking sweet. The
Prowler's really sweet. And that's a villain I didn't even know until I came into this.
Yeah, they do the Prowler well.
I would have loved. I mean, in a live action one, I want a real Scorpion villain. God, I mean, we saw him kind of. It's just stupid.
he's. I think of all the villains we haven't put on screen live action wise, I think Scorpion's the one.
That's my one. Yeah.
And I think I think there's a total setup in Spider 4 if they were going to do a post No Way Home.
Yeah.
Where you have Pete work at the Daily Bugle and Matt Gargan's like on like, prisoner assistance or something, running errands and yeah.
God, it's my favorite thing just because of the fact that like Peter has to save the man who's trying to ruin his career.
Yeah,
is the best thing.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. If you haven't seen the Scorpion episodes of the cartoon, the 90s cartoon, they're amazing.
They're amazing.
Yeah. I think it's him and like a real Rhino are the only ones we haven't really.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't gotten a Hydro Man technically.
A Hydro Man.
Chameleon. We haven't gotten Chameleon.
We haven't gotten Kite Man. I need to stop throwing out stupid.
Mothman's Batman. That's a different.
Batman.
The Spot. We haven't gotten the Spot.
The Spot. Oh gosh.
We got Polka Dot Man. We can get the Spot.
Oh man.
That's a different series. Suicide Squad's its own thing.
It's still great.
Okay, this is where it gets real tough because like everybody here on out is pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good. I gotta even get the list up. So we have Spider-Man 1.
We have the first 2 Spider-Mans with Sam Raimi, and we have all 3 Tom Holland ones left.
Oh god.
Take your pick.
I might go. I'm really sorry. I might go with Mysterio.
That's fine. That's where I was gonna go to.
Okay, good.
Okay, Spider-Man: Far From Home, second of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. Jake Gyllenhaal bringing Mysterio like perfectly to the point where me, who has read enough of these and seen enough of these to know what Mysterio's MO is, to go, maybe he's not a bad guy for like a minute.
I really wish that was the twist, though.
Oh, that would have been.
If somebody else would have been so weird. Like, oh, he's not the.
Or even if he's not the brainchild, like he's just the face guy, you know.
There's somebody else. Scorpion. But I do. The only thing I really don't like about this movie is how Pace is. Like, he meets him twice before he gives the glasses. I'm always like, why do you? It's so quick to meet someone new and gain that much trust.
Yeah, I think this is the weakest of the 3 Tom Holland movies. Just because I think it's trying to be too connected to the MCU, and they haven't quite divorced themselves of Spider Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yet, he's still kind of it's right after Endgame, so Tony's not there, but they're trying to kind of figure out who's the new Tony Stark because he's kind of the pinnacle hero. Again, alcoholic douchebag billionaire, whatever.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. But
I like Mysterio's motive though. Which is good. Not just he doesn't just do it because he does it. he's got something. Yeah, he got a bunch of people together to
basically anyone Stark Industries like slighted.
Yeah, it's so great to be like, look how bad Tony Stark was to some people.
Yeah, and like it's a very interesting movie to watch post 2020, because pre 2020 I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Post 2021 we're like all about these like defund the police and bring down the infrastructures and F the 1%. It's like, oh, these are kind of like the people that we are on the internet.
Yes.
Like if we had the technology, this might not be that far from what we actually do.
Right.
That's why I always ask myself is, if I had superpowers, would my lifestyle lead me to being a good person or maybe not a great person?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of things to say about this movie. I don't actually like it's weird that they travel somewhere. They travel to Venice, right?
Yeah. And he fights the water dude.
There's not that many differences in sets though. It's where they're like in one place the whole movie.
It feels really flat. Like nobody, like they go to London and Venice and I think Paris, and none of them feel different.
No, it feels like they shot on one location.
Yeah, which they probably did. They have the whole thing with Ned and Betty Brant that just kind of feels like a weird added-on thing. Zendaya, I think, is the least active in this movie of the three.
Yeah,
like this is the one that puts her the most as just kind of a love interest, which doesn't really.
Yeah.
Give her a lot to do, and she's way better than that if you've seen anything else she's been in.
And then you got Jon Favreau still trying in every movie he's in to prove that he can get a woman much hotter than him. that's his job.
I have been loving all the memes of Marissa Tomei in other movies with like weird looking guys being like, until they prove it otherwise, this is Uncle Ben.
This is Uncle Ben.
They have her in My Cousin Vinny with Joe Pesci. I'm just like, that's it. That's the one.
That's right. She won an Oscar for that.
She won an Oscar for that. To be fair, she earned that Oscar. I know a lot of people think she shouldn't have gotten it, but I'm like, no, she was so good in that movie.
I read a whole thing on like why she won. I was like, oh yeah, she totally deserved it.
Yeah. She I think two of the three Aunt Mays have won Oscars. Maybe all three. I don't know if Rosemary Harris has won an Oscar.
Oh well. I'm trying to. Samuel Jackson is in this movie, in a weird way.
Okay, Samuel L. Jackson is in this movie. Nick Fury is not really in this movie.
And I do like the twist, but there's a lot of times where I didn't feel like I needed Nick Fury even around as much. I could have got phone calls and stuff.
It's that whole thing. They've done it in all three of them where they can't really let Pete just be by himself yet. They like don't trust him. The same way they don't trust Tom Holland on the press tours.
Yes.
They don't trust Peter Parker by himself in the stuff. And I will say I love the Mysterio like mind effery stuff. Like those two scenes are so good. And the way that they kind of introduce Spider-Sense through it is actually really smart.
It's great, and it has the final fight scene is one of my favorite fight scenes in any Spider-Man movie, because you do finally see Peter Parker come online. And he can actually fight like he should.
It's like the worst version of that first fight from the first Spider-Man with Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Oh my god.
Freaking love it. Yeah.
I love it.
I will say though, of the three Tom Hollands, and I think the Tom Holland trilogy is the strongest overall.
Yes.
This is the weakest entry.
Yeah.
But I think more of that has to do with them trying to connect to the larger MCU and less of it with the actual people they chose. And I think if they'd cut some of that out and really just made the Mysterio story a little more central.
Yeah. Too many student things, too many scenes with the other classmates.
Though I do love Martin Starr and JB Smoove. Just those two guys are so funny.
They're so funny.
And the whole time they're so like when they showed up in No Way Home, even that one scene, I was like, that's just great.
Oh my god. And the Dark Spider-Man suit.
The Night Monkey.
Yes, I love Night Monkey. Suit's so good.
It's so stupid. I love it.
Yeah.
I just love that Ned pulls that out of his butt and everyone goes with it. They're like, "Oh yeah, Night Monkey."
So good.
It's so bad.
Oh.
It has a lot going for it. I'd say it's a solid like B tier Spider-Man film.
Me too. Yep. It's
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
you have to watch it, unfortunately, for
You have to watch it for No Way Home because No Way Home
Yes.
literally happens right after it.
Yes, it's
They do also bring. That's the one that brings back J.K. Simmons,
yes.
and to make him like Alex Jones is just
Right.
it's so perfect.
It's so funny because that's probably the most hype I got for an after credit scene ever.
I jumped out of my chair. I jumped out of my chair.
Yeah.
The only other time I jumped out of my chair for a comic book movie was when Cap caught the hammer in Infinity or in Endgame. I was like, well, it's fun because the Daily Bugle was originally meant to be like the New York Post, which is like a gossip magazine. So the fact that they've naturally evolved that to be like InfoWars is actually like really smart.
It's really smart. It's really smart to update it.
Yeah. And then we'll get to the next one when we talk about No Way Home because he has a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Hear me out.
I'm hearing you.
I'm gonna pick the Spider-Man Green Goblin, not the No Way Home Green Goblin.
The first
Green
one.
Goblin from the original Spider-Man movie.
That's good. That's really good.
Okay. This is what I will say about the first two Spider-Man films. I actually think that the first Spider-Man is a better movie overall than the second one.
Yeah.
It's just that Alfred Molina is so fucking good in the second one that he makes the movie better.
Yeah.
And that is not to say, because Dafoe is amazing in this. I think Willem Dafoe's casting was spot on.
Yeah.
That dude is terrifying with or without that mask.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And it's the best paced Spider-Man, I think, of any of them. I can remember point A to point Z very easily in my head.
Yeah, and there's these great little character moments throughout. There's a lot of good internal conflict. There's the really good scene where where Pete and Norman figure each other out at the Thanksgiving dinner that I think is just brilliant.
Yes.
I don't like that the Macy Gray cameo in the festival seems real weird.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, it doesn't make sense. I get it. She was big at the time.
Yeah.
But it just seems, it's a weird throw in.
You have the boxing, the arena, which
With freaking Randy Savage,
who apparently was like really annoying on set.
I'll bet he was.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's just how he is. I don't think they gave him lines. I just think they said, your name's Bonesaw.
Yeah.
Do stuff.
Do stuff.
Bonesaw, he's ready.
Oh my gosh. It has the Uncle Ben. This is the only thing I think of when I think of Uncle Ben now.
Cliff Robertson is fantastic as Uncle Ben.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And Rosemary Harris, for the time, like, to go off of the comic book look for Aunt May, she looks like the comic books at the time had Aunt May. It wasn't until recently they started kind of doing a younger
version.
Aunt May.
Which I like the older Aunt May partly because Spider-Man, it gives him more of a reason not to reveal his identity because he has a love person who can't really fend for themselves.
Yeah, and that comes to show in this when Goblin attacks her.
Like that. I always think about when Goblin throws the bomb and turns people just straight up into skeletons, like just bones,
right?
Which is always so weird.
I'm like, where is that bomb the rest of the movie?
Yeah,
that's the one I'd be using. Did he? He must have only had one. That was his only one. He saved it just for the board.
Just for the board. He doesn't care. My God.
Can we talk about the whole plot of this movie? Is a guy who just wants revenge at people who fired him.
Oh my gosh.
The guy whose life's work gets defunded, so he goes on a rampage.
I said it in okay, forget it. Okay, spoilers for the new movie or whatever. I said that to Lola. I said trying to fix the Green Goblin doesn't make sense because he's already a villain before he becomes the Green Goblin. He's a bad man.
Well, he's not a bad man. He's a little. I mean, he's a little greedy millionaire, but yeah.
I guess
it just.
He's overly prideful. I know. I mean, I guess is the.
Yeah, he just got an ego.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of stuff, and I mean, Norman Osborn in the comics is one of the most complicated. He's probably one of the best villains
Yeah.
Like, sans the Green Goblin alter ego, I think Norman Osborn himself is just really good at being kind of that big business
Yeah.
a-hole that we want.
Yeah.
And I think it works really well because you have a big like millionaire who owns his own company versus a kid from Queens who like has nothing.
Yeah.
So that clash works out.
Oh. And then somebody told me to watch this movie as if that final scene where he gets the glider through him, if you watch it like he just got sent back from the new movie.
Oh,
so when he goes like, oh,
boom!
Yeah, it's like he gets transported. He's like, oh crap, I'm still like, it's so
oh, that's
funny.
so awful.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's so funny though. Oh,
I would guess I was trying to pinpoint because they were talking a little about when they got zapped.
Yeah.
And I was like, when Goblin's on his glider in his full armor, so it was before that moment.
Yeah.
So my guess is it's probably
during that fight.
It's probably because they all kind of got zapped right before they got Peter. And I'm trying. I think it's when Goblin tosses the bomb and Peter's whole mask blows off. That's when I would expect that's his. But I'm still thinking. I'm going. He comes back. Toby at that point. Norman's dead.
Norman's dead. Yeah.
Like the brutality of that fight is so brutal.
Yeah.
Like you feel those punches.
That's I forgot. Like it's like a kung fu movie all of a sudden.
Yeah.
People just whacking each other straight on.
Yeah, they're beating the hell out of each other. And he has the trident thing and all the razor bombs. Like Goblin's really nasty.
Yeah. Gosh. And then here's the part where he's pretending to be the old woman in the burning building.
Which I guess is how they snuck him around on set in No Way Home. There's a quote from Tom Holland about turning around and Willem Dafoe under a blanket just being like, hey. Looking like Bilbo in that one scene of Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh.
I think though, going back and looking at the overall storyline, I think the first Spider-Man is the strongest of the three.
Yep. And you get a lot of him not fighting supervillains, which I love.
Yeah, he does a lot of him solving crimes. They have the great Bruce Campbell cameo as the wrestling announcer.
Yeah.
As a nod to Sam Raimi's history. And I think because Sam Raimi is like such an acclaimed comedy horror director, this uses that really well, especially with the Goblin stuff.
Yeah.
Like that whole back to formula, him coming out of the juice sequence is terrifying.
Yeah, there was not a better director to pick for a Spider-Man like startup.
Yeah,
the camera work that you actually feel like you're swinging with Spider-Man, which is something that new movies need to do more of.
Well, because now they just CG them. What they actually did in these ones is they actually threw a camera, like swung a camera through New York or maybe it was Chicago. I think it was Chicago. But they swung a camera through a city and then like digitally put a Spider-Man in front of it. Yeah. Versus now they just do the whole thing.
Yeah, CG.
In CG, and somehow the video games can do a better job of that than.
Yep. I just say I want to feel like Spider-Man.
The first Amazing Spider-Man did it pretty okay because they used the 3D tech and they did that first-person scene, which was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think this one's just. And now Sam Raimi's in the MCU. He's gonna be directing the new Doctor Strange.
Oh, and I can't wait! I can't wait for that movie.
Technically, Sam Raimi's directing showed up in the No Way Home.
That's true. Oh gosh, I love it.
We're almost there.
Becoming a nerd again. I really fell out of it last year, and I'm all the way back.
I'm so back. You keep asking me if I was back. I think I'm pretty freaking back.
Okay, so we have 3 movies left.
We have Homecoming, No Way Home, and Spider-Man 2.
Oh God, it's really good. Sorry, I think I want to save the new movie just for last, no matter what. But because there are villains in it that I would say are worse. I'm probably gonna go with Homecoming.
Yeah, let's go with Homecoming.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had asked me 10 years ago who the best Spider-Man villains on film would have ever been, I would have never picked the Vulture. No. Would have never. Michael Keaton made that dude so freaking scary that I was like, I don't ever want to be around this Vulture ever.
Like, I mean, he's not even the Vulture from the comics. Like, he doesn't do the whole like I'm getting old. And he's creepier still.
Yeah.
God.
And that twist, this is the best. They used racism against the audience.
Yes.
Brilliantly.
Oh my gosh.
to put him as the dad of a half black girl, and we as the audience are going, "Oh, we never put two and two together because we have stupid white bias."
God, that is the scariest like scene.
Opens the door and there's that half second. I remember when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh no, Vulture figured out who. Oh no, that's her dad.
It's her dad.
Oh crap!
That's even worse. Like, oh my god.
It's like the worst. It's one of the things I think that movie does really well is it takes the teenage problems that Pete has and blows them up.
Yeah.
So like, meeting your prom date's parents is scary.
It's very scary.
Or I guess homecoming because it's homecoming.
Yes.
Meeting your homecoming date's parents is really scary. When one of them is the guy who's actively trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's gotta be the worst.
And then that scene afterwards in the car is probably one of the, I'd say it's probably one of the three best scenes in any Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah.
When Joker, or not Joker, when Batman lands.
The Shocker, you mean?
No. When Vulture figures out that Pete's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then basically turns around and is like, you try to stop me again, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though. He's so creepy, but he's also not, he's not really a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he never kills anybody, though.
The problem is all these movies pit these dudes against Tony Stark, and we're supposed to like the billionaire who's an asshole.
Yeah, and this guy's just trying to make money for his family because he's getting like ripped off.
He just takes it a little far. That's all he does.
Yeah.
So like we understand why he's there, and I think Keaton. I heard that someone said you couldn't have made this movie 10 years earlier because without Birdman, Keaton would have never made Without Birdman, Keaton would have seemed like a joke.
Yes.
But because he made Birdman, they finally realized that his legacy is like far more than that, and he was able to play a different Birdman.
Yes. I still love the fact though that like I'm sure he was like really talking to his wife and stuff like, do I play another bird? Right? Like,
another bird in a superhero thing.
I just made fun of it like a few years ago.
Hashtag Birdman for president.
Birdman for president. It's still the best.
It's god. One day we'll talk about it.
But I hope he comes back as Batman though.
He is coming back as Batman.
Wait,
they're doing he's in the Flash movie that they're making.
Oh.
Because the Flash movie is doing multiverse.
Oh my gosh! Of course it is.
So they're gonna have Michael Keaton's Batman.
Holy crap! I love it. I'm really an old Batman is. Oh.
We could do the Batman movies sometime too. We'd be like the same. I think it's the same amount almost.
Yeah, that's true. Batman.
I guess if
X-Men.
Yes, yeah, we got a whole bunch of superheroes that aren't the MCU. If we did the MCU, we'd be here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I will also technically the Prowler's in this movie because Donald Glover plays Aaron Davis, and he mentions Miles at one point, which is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's such a. Isn't he the reason we have Miles? Partly.
I don't think he's the whole reason, but I know that he was a big. There was a push back when I think it was Andrew Garfield right before Andrew Garfield got cast.
Yeah,
to just
put him in.
Just go with a black Spider-Man and put Donald Glover in the role,
which would have been great. Still,
yeah.
If he more like he did in Community, would have been.
Yeah. Oh, he would have been great in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's transcended it now. I don't think he's gonna with Atlanta and his Childish Gambino stuff. I think he's in a different space than he was in Community era Donald Glover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still brilliant, but
he's in this. The Shocker's in this. The Tinkerer's in this. And then the Tinkerer kind of vanishes. We don't ever see him again.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure he's still alive at the end of the movie.
I guess technically Scorpion is in this.
Scorpion is also in this. Yep.
Yeah, which is cool.
This is as many villains as No Way Home without us knowing it.
Yeah, I think the reason why I also like the fact that Michael Keaton gets beaten and then just kind of goes, that's he did it. He won't tell people who Spider-Man is because he's what's the point? I'm in prison.
I'm not going to get anything out of revealing his identity,
God, it's so great.
Yeah. Well, and I think that Keaton realizes he screwed up. I think Vulture realizes he did this to himself.
Yeah.
He got greedy, he got played, and then at the end of the day, he got saved by the very person he was trying to kill.
Yes. I think it was very smart of Marvel to put Spider-Man first into a MCU movie.
Yeah.
And then make him his own solo movie so we're used to him instead of what they've done before.
Yeah, and to skip the whole origin thing.
Yeah.
Well, and
He is Spider-Man.
now it sounds like he doesn't even have an Uncle Ben. He just kind of
Yeah.
he just is like he just learned that stuff from Aunt May.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very
it's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool.
I love Spider-Man.
Yeah, two more.
Okay.
Two more. All right, we're gonna do Spider-Man 2.
I'm into.
I will say okay. I will say this. This is the best villain of any of them.
Yes.
I said it before. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is perfection. So much so that when they were going through the casting of villains for the MCU films, Kevin Feige literally said, "If we ever do Doc Ock, we're just gonna bring Alfred Molina back."
Yeah, because you have to.
Because he is literally, I think, the best. He might be the best superhero villain not named Heath Ledger.
Yes. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. That's exactly it.
He's kind of phenomenal in the part, and I remember when this thing came out, I like wanted those freaking tentacles. They were so freaking cool.
So cool.
Without the supervillain insanity, obviously, but
this has one of my favorite superhero fight scenes. The train scene is the most iconic. Not even the fight. After him having to stop the train, everything in it.
Well, and I love that big inspirational moment when the town, like the city, stands up to stop Doc Ock, and Doc Ock's like, "Cool, parts all of them."
Yeah,
it's so like, yeah, you're not gonna stop me. I'm super powered with these freaking arms.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I do love that No Way Home had to build a whole machine to do what Toby did with words.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Like Doc Ock is technically redeemed at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he's able to control it somehow.
Yeah, he regains control of the AI.
So I guess maybe then he gets transported right before that.
Yeah, because he grabs Pete by the throat and then Pete talks him out of it.
So he's not fixed yet.
Yeah, so it's like, and then
what are all these timeline Peter Parker's thinking when these villains disappear? Like,
well, I don't know if I wonder if it's like when they did in Endgame with the stones, where they come back right to the point of blipping out. So to these guys, suddenly he's like, "Ha! All right, we're done. I'm cool."
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm gonna drown us in the river. We're gonna get out of here. See you later.
Yeah,
but maybe that's why he turns. Maybe it's like the Goblin thing.
Yeah.
Mmm.
Oh god, we're gonna give this whole thing how sad it is.
Oh my
Like we're gonna find out that all these villains still die.
They still
no matter what.
That'd be horrible. That'd be absolutely horrible.
Except for the Shocker, who doesn't have the electronics anymore.
Yeah, Shocker's not dead. Vulture's not dead.
Not dead.
Oh, you mean Electro? Electro's not
sorry,
dead.
sorry, Electro. Sorry, because he can't.
Technically, Lizard doesn't die ever. Sandman never dies.
Sandman never dies.
Although I don't know how he comes back as Sandman.
Yeah.
I don't know where Sandman comes back in.
Okay, wait. We're on the second movie.
We're thinking too much.
I'm thinking too much about Spider-Man.
This has a feisty Aunt May, which you like. You like the bank heist where she slaps him with the purse after.
Yes.
That "shame on you" line is so funny.
Yeah.
It takes the story of Pete's existential crisis from the comics, which I wasn't a big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like. That's the thing that puts one above this one in my estimation of the plot is I don't really like the Pete struggling to be Spider-Man stuff because it just feels like an extra layer that doesn't need.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's just some problems in general with like how long the existential stuff goes on.
Yeah.
To me. I'm like, man, it's sad for a long time. Mm-hmm. It has my favorite cameo from Bruce Campbell though. This is the
sassy Usher. Yeah
it's so funny.
No one will be seated after the doors are closed. He goes to the other panel. You're just like, God, they had too much fun with that.
Maybe that's my problem. I wanted him to be mysterious so bad. Maybe that's my problem.
I hope he's somebody in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh man, Bruce Campbell's the best.
Campbell.
Now we already did 2 of the Evil Deads. Never mind.
Yeah. This movie also has like all the stuff that goes on in the Daily Bugle. All those people are the best in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so freaking funny. The whole bit with Ted Raimi coming up with Doc Ock and then Jonah thinking he came up with Doc Ock. I love that Sam Raimi did that. I love that he chose to have the Daily Bugle be the thing that gives them their supervillain names.
Yes.
Because he's like, gotta come up with a stinger for this criminal who's a little weird.
It's so good.
You know, Green Goblin. I win a quarter every time somebody says it.
Yeah. I also like Bill Nunn. Is that?
Yeah, Bill Nunn is the Robbie.
It's got the lightheaded guy. He's like, guys, come on, like
Yeah,
stop.
he's the sanity.
Yes. I feel bad. I really like the guy who plays Dr. Connors, who never gets to do.
Well, yeah, and if you've ever seen The Good Wife,
he's crazy, right? Like
he's insane. He's like this cannibalistic sex maniac.
Yeah.
Who keeps having to have this lawyer defend him, even though he's definitely done something.
Oh, God.
And I was like watching him in that, or in Trick or Treat. If you ever seen him in Trick or Treat, he plays another maniac. I was like, Dylan Baker could definitely play the lizard.
You know, I've seen Trick or Treat. I don't remember it though.
Yeah, it's the one with the little guy with the pumpkin head.
Okay. Oh, he has like spiked hair, right, or something? Or is he a normal dude?
He's a normal dude, but he's like a serial killer.
Okay.
It's like a secret serial killer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's crazy in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there going, oh, that dude could have played the. As soon as I saw him in The Good Wife, I was like, man, we never got a Dylan Baker lizard. And here's what sucks: is even if we'd gotten a fourth one, we still wouldn't have, because I guess they wanted to do Vulture.
Yes. It hurts. It hurts. How many? Maybe they thought they were going to do like 10 of these things, and like.
I wonder if that's why Mark Webb did the lizard, is because he just said they set it up and they never pulled it off. So let's just do lizard.
Lizard.
It's impressive that in 9 of these movies, we've only seen villains return like twice.
Yeah, this is good. I guess. I'm trying. I want to see Spider-Man fight Venom though. Not Venom. Sorry, Carnage. I'm kind of bummed that's in Venom.
You'd have to do a full R-rated movie for Carnage to show up, though. I mean, he's so nasty.
Yeah.
And they did him weird in the new one. Like it was. Yeah. He just it felt like. I don't know. It was missing something.
Yeah. Oh, and before we get off the original trilogy, anytime you watch one of these, every scene with the crowd, watch the people in the crowd, because you'll get people who are really into it, and you people who are just kind of like, I'm here as an extra.
Yeah.
It's just my favorite part of these.
There's some pretty great, especially this one. And all the Stan Lee cameos.
It's all the Stan Lee cameos. Oh, dang it. I'm so bummed he ain't gonna be in the new one. No,
he was. I think he was on a magazine.
Okay.
I think that's what they did. I think, or maybe that was Hawkeye. They put him on a magazine something recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So Stanley's image will be around.
It'll be here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh.
All right.
Well, we made it. We've
reached the peak.
Get out of here now if you haven't seen it. I swear to God.
We saved this for the end so you can have a chance to bounce without missing most of the podcast.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home, which only came out like 2 weeks ago, and might very well be the greatest live-action Spider-Man movie ever made.
Yep.
It might be the best Spider-Man movie ever made. I don't know.
It's really between
and Spider-Verse. It's the 2 multiverse Spider-Man movies, and only because of the third act of this movie. I think just it knew what we wanted. It gave it to us, and I was losing my dang mind.
Although I love a lot of stuff in the first act of this. I love the fact when I came into it, I thought everyone was going to hate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And the fact that it, like in real life, there's a divide of people who love Spider-Man still and people who hate him.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah. It feels so like now.
Yeah.
In terms of the controversy and like, is he a hero? Is he a villain?
God.
Who do you believe? Which is one of the things I love in the video games is they have that because they have the new one, the PS4 ones. They have like the J. Jonah Jameson podcast, and people calling in being like, "Dude, you suck! Like, what the heck? You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is that? I can't remember that part where somebody calls in. He's like, "Did he beat you up?" He's like, "No, not really." He's like, "No, but did he beat you up?" He's like, "Well, he like used his web." He's like, "That sounds like it to me." And then he's like, "You heard it here, folks. Spider-Man beats up the mentally handicapped." And
yeah.
It's like, what the heck? Oh God, it's so funny.
Yeah, they're so great. It's and this one starts with Jonah dropping the bomb, and then they have that reveal that he's making it in like his basement.
Yeah.
This show is like garbage, and it gets picked up because of the Spider-Man news.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And they go full Alex Jones with the supplement cell. I thought that was so funny.
It's so funny. I never thought I'd get to see Doctor Strange and Spider-Man together.
Which is so cool because Steve Ditko made both of them.
Oh,
Because
okay.
most of early Marvel stuff was Jack Kirby,
That's really
but these
cool.
are the two Steve Ditko characters,
Oh,
so they get to be in
oh,
the movie. Yeah,
that's so good because they're so good together. I would
yeah,
not expect them to be so good. I think it's because when you watch them in interviews together, they seem like buddies, like best buddies.
yeah.
Part of it.
Because they made Cumberbatch Holland's like
Yeah.
watcher. I love those ones where they're like, Tom, tell me something great that you really liked about this movie, and Benedict's just like, I'll take this one.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Just like knows this kid's gonna fuck it up. I'm gonna jump in.
This is the first time I've really liked Jacob Battalion.
Bathalon, Batalon, I don't know how to say, yeah.
Ned.
Ned.
I really like Ned in this, and I haven't super loved the best friend of Ned in the last two.
The problem with Ned, I think, is that they tried to give Pete Genke, who's Miles's like Asian man and guy in the chair, and it feels shoehorned. And also, Ned Leeds in the comics is one of the Hobgoblins, so
Yeah,
I'm a little like interesting choice of character.
There's a lot of interesting because the Flash Thompsons in these series too is also not somebody I expect to become Venom.
Yeah, but he could.
He could.
I could see that happening. But I think Ned and MJ in this one have the most stuff to do.
Yes,
and I think it really works. Like they actually feel like they're you can see how Spider-Man teams up with them and uses them to help him. Spider-Man.
That's the thing. Before it seemed like he could have just used somebody from Stark's Industries. And now he needs these people. So
yeah. Well, in the end of this movie, because we already said we're gonna spoil it.
We're done.
End when they cut everything off and Peter's like legitimately on his own.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have been saying that feels like a Spider-Man origin. Like this is his now he is Spider-Man. Like the Spider-Man we know.
Yeah.
He's not baby Iron Man. He's not the kid who like has all these extra things and the suit, does 90% of the work. Like he's in spandex and he's going around swinging. This movie gives possibly, with the exception of Alfred Molina, the best villain performances out of every single actor they bring back.
Yes. Except for maybe it's just because what's it? Oh God. I'm about to say what's the name of the
Sandman.
Lizard
and Sandman.
Lizard and Sandman. But that's partly because the Sandman guy couldn't show up. He had conflicts.
I think the Lizard guy did too. I think Lizard dude was making Kingsman.
That's right. Oh right.
Because he's Rasputin in the new Kingsman movie. Yeah.
I gotta see. Okay, I guess we can get into the Toby and Andrew.
Okay, yeah, and this is the I mean, Andrew Garfield shows up and you're like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. And then the problem is that once Andrew showed up, you knew Toby was going to show up.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd show up so quick. I thought he would show up a little later in a fight, or something. But still good
to have them all. And
I think the reason though why Toby is the weakest of the three Spider-Man's movie is because he's acting like his Spider-Man, without the cameras of Sam Raimi like zooming up to him and like the cuts, it's not the same. Like,
and he's kind of the moral center. He's he's older. He's kind of almost like the Uncle Ben. Of this movie. What happened to my camera?
Where'd you go?
Where did my camera go?
No.
Oh no, my camera's dead. Hold on.
Like you've been filming too long.
That was so weird. I don't know what happened.
We're back.
Yeah, he's almost like the Uncle Ben of this trilogy a little bit.
Yeah.
But Andrew Garfield knocks it out of the freaking park. Like, everything was perfect.
Everything. God. And even he gets the I love you guys thing makes me lose my mind.
Yeah, or the Peter 3 where he just like knows he's the the end jokes to he's the worst Spider-Man.
Okay.
Peter 3.
Yeah.
Like
whatever.
As soon as the trailer came out though and they showed that shot of Zendaya falling and it looks just like the Gwen Stacy fall, I was sitting there watching it and I was like, Andrew Garfield's gonna catch her.
Yeah.
Even before they knew he was in the movie, I was like, Andrew Garfield's gonna be the guy who catches her.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
But yeah, it just and they all felt, none of them felt like, how sometimes how in like Rise of Skywalker, Lando felt like kind of just a shoehorned in cameo.
Yeah.
None of these guys feel like that. They feel like they're supposed to be there.
Yes.
And it makes sense.
It makes sense. But you have to watch all the other movies to
Yeah.
get there.
You have to
guys.
At least, okay, I will say this. You can skip the first Spider-Man. The lizard stuff really doesn't matter. No. You can also kind of skip Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
You like
that's very true.
It doesn't have that much bearing, and Sandman doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I love like they couldn't get Thomas Hayden Church, so they just reused footage
from
Spider-Man 3 when he transforms back.
Weird, because I thought that like he looks just like he did.
And then somebody on YouTube put the shots up next to each other where he's like, it's when he gets doused with the sewer and he like turns into mud.
It's his back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So they just did the same shot, but they had his hand grow back instead of disappear.
Yeah.
But Jamie Foxx gives the Electro he should have been in the first one, and he's actually I think I liked him more than Doc Ock in this movie.
I think Doc Ock is kind of one of the weaker things in this movie, which is weird to me. I don't know if it's because he had to be like just a villain for a while.
Yeah.
And then just a straight up good guy. I don't know.
They kind of wanted to redeem Doc Ock in a little way. And I think it's because he's the fan favorite. I think they knew that. Yeah. So they wanted him to be the one who gets the best redemption arc.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, though, but the thing is, he already did. And I think that is the problem. Like, we've seen this man be good.
Yeah, we know that Doc Ock deep down isn't like the villain that we...
Yeah.
He's just like he says when he gets the thing put on his neck and he says like, oh, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
Like, those tentacles are talking to him constantly, and that's probably why he's struggling. It's like being a schizophrenic. It's like he's not really that dangerous.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know the reality. Mm-hmm. But I do love that they introduced him first. I think that reveal was really cool, and they give him his whole. I think he's the only villain who gets his whole fight just him and Spider-Man. Yeah. Well, no, I guess Goblin technically gets one later, but
all the other guys are kind of there.
Yeah, but he's the one who gets a solo. He and Pete get to kind of throw down in a way that was reminiscent of the Sam Raimi stuff.
Yeah,
and then Pete finds a way to nanotech hack his armor.
It's really cool,
which is kind of genius. That the idea of like, oh, an old man gets trumped by technology.
Yes. Willem Dafoe just got a lot to do in this. Like, straight up.
Oh, I apologize for dog.
I know you like Willem Dafoe too,
Dodie.
But like, just the things he gets to do, like the character, I really thought maybe he is good because I don't know where he got transported from.
Yeah.
What happened? And then all of a sudden he just he says one line, not looking at the camera. I'm like, oh god.
That thing. I went back the second time because we both seen it twice.
Yeah.
I went back the second time, watched it, and was like watching him the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out is he genuinely good, or is he playing it? You know, is Goblin actually... Right. And I think for most of it, he's not trying to actually, like, F Peter, you know? I think he's so genuinely... Too. For the most part, I think he's genuinely like, I want to get cured, I want to be fixed. It's only when they get to Happy's lab that he starts to...
Yeah.
I think once they turn to him and you have that moment of like, all right, Norman, you're next. And he kind of... That's when you can see him like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to get rid of this.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay. Ending fight's cool. 3 Spider-Men. Whatever. When the Goblin wrestles Peter through an apartment building,
God.
That fight hurt. Like, you could feel it.
Yeah. And it's one of the Spider-Man has a lot of creepy moments. We didn't even talk about the Doc Ock horror scene in his movie.
Oh, yeah.
But the part where Peter's punching him and it looks like Peter's doing good, he just starts laughing. Like, that is the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
The smartest thing that this movie did was smash that Goblin mask and let Dafoe just use his face. I mean,
it's way creepier the whole time.
So good.
Yeah,
he's terrifying from start to finish. And I know a lot of people turned around and said, "Oh my gosh, like this was the Goblin we should have seen in the first Sam Raimi film." Like, this is brutal. And even that moment when he's like, "You're not going to send me back to die, Peter." And Pete's like, "I'm going to kill you myself." He just goes, "Attaboy." Yeah, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this dude is deranged."
It's deranged.
He's so good.
And it's the movie I thought Toby died. I straight up Like had a moment where like, oh, they brought him in just to kill him off. Like, oh crap. So
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't, but gosh, it's like,
The throwaway joke after that is so funny though. Yeah, I've been stabbed before.
before. Well, I didn't get it. The part where he's like, "Yeah, my back gives out," is from the second movie where he lands on the car. He's like, "My
But it's
back!"
also, here's the other thing. It's also a Tobey Maguire joke because
Oh.
he broke his back during Seabiscuit.
Oh,
And that's why they threw the back joke into Spider-Man 2.
oh my
So it is
God.
a triple joke.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's
Back.
every that whole conversation. What I love about this one is it took its time on all these moments. Like the Aunt May's death was so. I was like, oh my gosh, they're taking forever to do this, and it felt like this one. I would not have told if you didn't tell me ahead of time this was directed by the same guy who did the first two. I would never guess that because it feels so different. But they took like all the time they needed. That scene on the school where the three Peters are kind of like pep talking each other, and then just the banter on the Statue of Liberty before the fight starts, where they just go about all the weird like talking about why Peter too can shoot webs without the without the stuff, and the aliens that they fought. And I love the Amazing Spider-Man joke that they throw in there.
Yes, you're amazing.
You're amazing.
God, I could have watched way more of their just banter about their.
I hope when the Blu-ray comes out that there's like 40 minutes of just deleted dialogue, because I heard the original cut of this was like way longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we get that. Give me every extended version.
And give me Paul Giamatti's Rhino once.
Yes.
Just for a second.
And John Watts, if you're listening, don't screw up Fantastic Four. Please. I want to
Do.
do Fantastic Four.
I've been reading the comics. Like, it's really not that hard. Don't. Here's the trick with Fantastic Four. Do not ground them.
No.
Send them to space. Make them fight a green alien.
That's it. Make them Guardians kind of.
Make the thing's grumpy. Torch is cocky, Reed's really smart, and Sue is the like moral center. Just do the Incredibles. Really, just do the Incredibles.
Simple. It's that simple. I swear to God.
You're both owned by Disney. Just make the same movie again.
Same movie. They don't care. They can't sue. They can't sue their own company.
I feel like if anyone would try, it would be Disney, or maybe Facebook.
Oh my gosh.
Facebook is suing Facebook. Because Facebook stole from Facebook.
Facebook. They totally would.
It's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
So many Spider-Mans.
So many Spider-Mans. Hopefully lots more.
And we should also address the Tom Hardy cameo at the end of No Way Home is pretty fun.
Yes, it's pretty good.
And they leave behind a little Venom goober. So hopefully Black Suit Spidey's coming.
I hope so. I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to make his next villains. He's had a lot of really tough villains because he does have the Iron Man stuff.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to make one that kind of is an even level villain.
I kind of think here's my thing based on where they're at. I think Chameleon could be really cool because they do all that stuff where Chameleon imitates Spider-Man like doing crime.
Yeah.
And I think you could get away with some of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we haven't had is like a real grounded. And he's fighting thugs. Like, think about this. The Chameleon could be anybody. Yeah. So he's just beating up dudes trying to find this guy. But they also did just bring Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin back into the MCU. So
that's right. Wait, did they bring him back in Hawkeye?
Yeah, he's in the end of Hawkeye.
Okay, got it. Making sure.
Yeah.
I would love a Kraven too. I don't know how you do it.
But... So they're doing a Kraven movie with the dude from Kick-Ass over in the same like Morbius Venom universe. Okay. There are people who are now petitioning to do it with Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
As like Spider-Man for Kraven, because they said Kraven doesn't make sense without Spider-Man. His whole thing is he's hunting the old. He's like most dangerous gaming, the greatest thing, which is Spider-Man.
It would be so cool even if if not Tom, if Andrew wasn't in it that much, he just swings around every so often. And God.
That or they talked about like having, because at the end of at the end of No Way Home, Venom talks about like I'm gonna go find this Spider-Man and talk to him, and then he zips back into whatever universe he's from. And they said it'd be really cool if he still goes to find Spider-Man and it's not Tom Holland, it's one of the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Andrew Garfield one because Toby already had a Venom.
Yeah. Well, I think that's set up when he says I haven't fought like an alien yet.
Yeah, you fight an alien.
Fight alien.
Alien made a black goo shows up, and he's like, "Oh no, this is what they were talking about."
Yeah, this is it.
And I think Tom Hardy is so good as Venom. I think it's kind of that Alfred Molina thing where you don't want a different Venom ever.
No, I love Tom Hardy. Just my favorite thing about Tom Hardy is that he doesn't have the best diction. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I have to like rewatch, like, what did he say there? But it really, I don't know why I love it in these Venom movies. I'm like, I don't know what he's saying, but I don't really care. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I got a dog jumping on me now.
I know.
I think that he also, Tom Hardy has that Leo DiCaprio thing where he just can get the shit kicked out of him, and like it's totally like, yeah, of course he is. Yeah. Of course everyone's beating up on him. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, that's Spider-Man's. This has been another podcast of Welcome to the Party, Pal.
Right, pal. It's my turn, right?
It is your turn, and if we'll see you next year.
Wait for the okay. I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Yes!
That's my favorite one.
Did you watch the? Did I send you that video of Bully Maguire?
With the paparazzi or
no, with the Shmuel Yoho guys.
Big one. Yeah,
I
saw that.
So funny.
No, there's another one where paparazzi comes with a camera and someone just added, "I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye." Like hits the camera out of his hand and walks away.
Yeah, there's some great stuff. All right, love you.
Love you.
See you later. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you in the next year.
See you next year.